Chris's. Oh, and you didn't change. You meant to change.
No,
Oh, I have to change it on there.
no, I do not. No, you did not. I have to.
You can do it from here.
Yes.
This is Chris's folks, Katrina and Vern Schaff.
Hi.
Hey,
Jody, and what was the name? Jody and
Katrina and
Oh.
Laverne.
and Laverne.
Yeah, don't pay attention to the Jody Reber.
Oh,
That
okay.
was ready to switch.
Katrina and Laverne.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
I like your dream catcher back there too. Are you?
Oh
are
yeah,
y'all?
Joanna makes that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Then, yeah, y'all all in? It's West Virginia, right? West Virginia.
Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Yeah, that place is a lot of Native American history there. So, yeah, and Sasquatch and everything. Are y'all Native American? Are y'all Cherokee or no?
No,
No, only a
Mhm.
tad, like not that much.
now there's a
Yeah.
little bit of Lakota, but very little.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Chris, this line that's across there, is it supposed to be there?
Yeah, that just would jump
What?
when she came in.
Yeah, there's a big black line that goes over our faces. I don't
Not
know.
for us.
Not for us, no.
Oh, okay, all right, that's all I wanted
Yeah,
to know. I
check it
didn't
real
want
quick
you
and see
to,
what's going on there. But yeah, I changed the name where it says Katrina
Oh.
Laverne in there. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Joanna's gonna come in here and I think take this off because we can't see anybody's faces right.
Oh, y'all are in the same home.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're the
we're in the kitchen, they're in the office.
Oh, okay. Are
Office.
y'all just visiting for the weekend?
No, we live together.
we
Oh,
live.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I live with my parents too, so yeah. It makes it kind of easy to take care of each other,
Yeah,
do
it
things
does.
that we can't do when we get older, lift things. So we got the younger generation to help us move with the muscles,
Right.
My mom says, I need your muscles.
Can you turn the volume up too?
What are you doing over there?
Now that you
It's just something, I'll fix it.
What they do, minimize it or something?
No,
No.
it's too hard for me to bring up.
Can y'all hear me okay too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good. All right.
He's bringing up the volume.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to, but it doesn't want to.
I know. Are we doing the card reading too? Is this what we're
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
doing?
we're doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, what we do is then when you'll hear me say edit and then I'll go into the intro and then
Yeah. Yeah, you
so-
just lead the way. I just wondered because some of the stuff in the cards is like the secret space stuff, all that kind
There
of
we go.
thing. So
Okay.
I can,
Oh, and then do you have a website you can put up or something too?
I have just my email that people use for now. I need to work on getting a website,
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do like a simple Wix one sometime too. They're not hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to do that, so
Thank you.
and figure it because I got a desktop now, so I can figure out how to put everything on there,
Yeah, it's not hard to do Wix. It's very user friendly. That's what the lifting.net is. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, we've had that one for a while. I could easily fiddle with it. So
Mhm.
okay, Laverne, can you push the camera towards you just a hair to tilt it a little? There we go.
Sure, this way.
Oh, like
There
that?
we go. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, that's better.
Okay. Are you live streaming it on that end?
No, it doesn't let me do that. Like you're in control of the controllers.
Oh, okay. I thought you could just send the link. Okay. Yeah,
It's
I've
just-
never done live streaming except when friends do it. So yeah,
Yeah, it's just recording now, so you'll have to edit out
Oh,
the
yeah.
talking and stuff, like
Yeah.
I'll edit out the talking too, like
okay. Yeah, that's perfect. That's why I always say edit. It's like when they go with the clicker. So it's
Oh,
just like,
so wait, no.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we can get going with this if you want to. Okay. Edit. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Lifting. Today's episode is being recorded on 3/28/25. We are here today with my mother and stepfather, Katrina and Laverne Schaff, and we are here with Christy Campbell today, psychic reader, medium, and card reader, animal speak, when you were talking to me in private, you speak to animal spirits and also ETs and translates ET quantum light language. So I found this actually very, very fascinating. But before we go into this discussion, Joanna, go into the opening blessing.
We are all one, and when one is harmed, all are harmed. When one is helped, all are helped. Therefore, in the name of who I am, and I am one with all there is, that only the highest good be done. We pray for you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, to let healing energies in. Let them love you. Let them nourish you. Let them bring you to your highest good. We pray for benevolence now to come in with no conflicting agenda, to come in joy, to support this conversation and what is about to happen. We wish for any malevolent or mischievous beings to be swept away now, so that this conversation can be had in peace and with the intention, again, of bringing about the highest good. And with that, and with great blessings that we always send your way, we say, so be it.
And so be it. So, Christy, I'm going to let you take it away from this point. Tell the audience what you do.
Okay, and thank you for having me on, and it's nice to meet everybody too. I was wanting to kind of talk about more of the Karuna Reiki and how I began with that with the healing part of it. That kind of gives it a more positive note to begin with. So I started taking the Reiki 1 in 2013, and just because my son is severe autistic, and he was having some digestion issues and just hyper. So I started taking the Reiki to see if I could calm him down, help him with his stomach and all that. So it started beginning with the intention of healing and kind of trying to settle him down some too. So and then it just kind of grew. I kept on going with it because I wanted to learn more, and I was just feeling like the need to just in a desire to uh, be more intuitive and like hear my higher self or my guides, or I just wanted more, and it was slowly starting to open up for me as I took the classes. And so I went from Reiki 1 all the way to the Karuna Reiki Master in that whole year in 2013. And finished after she gave me this. It's like the fire serpent symbol. I'll show you. I wrote it down to show everybody so you can kind of see. This is the Karuna Reiki Master fire serpent symbol, and she puts this goes like on your crown and all the way down your spine and then to your root, and that activates all of your chakras, and it gave me like the Kundalini awakening then. And do y'all know what the Kundalini awakening is? It's where like all the energy is stirring the heat, and it comes up, rises up, and it activates all of your chakras in your body, and opening up all your chakras, and then opening up your crown into your higher self. And the symbols that are in the Karuna Reiki Master are to connect with your higher self, like a open stream of consciousness. You can just you can become more in tune, so you just practice drawing the symbols and writing them on your hands and doing them over yourself and doing them on others. And you can send the Reiki as well to whoever requests it, animals or any living being you can send the Reiki to. And it's with your intention, with your mind, to seeing if it's like like a person or a dog, then you can just see the dog laying down in front of you, and just do like it's like a scan over with your hand, and you just pick up any kind of disruption or discomfort or inflammation that might be in the animal. Animals are really easy to read, because they're open. And then, if it's a human, then it's a lot more because we got a lot more layers, So with the Karuna Reiki Master, the symbols, they go to the very core too of where it began, where the trauma began, and it will help with opening that up. And then the symbols will like release that trauma from sexual trauma, childhood trauma, um, any kind of violent things like that, or drug abuse. So all those symbols are higher, like ascended masters, symbols, and also Jesus and Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, and archangels too. So it's really the Karuna Reiki Master class. I highly recommend, but you have to go through Reiki 1 all the way to that, because your body kind of, it prepares you for that. So
Yeah, you have to do it in stages like
mhm.
that, where I know there's an initial activation and then you go from there. Yeah.
Yes.
I've had like I've noticed that it does start with a trauma point and then it spans out from there once you remove, it's like removing a rock from a stream, then you have all of that going. And in sessions I have seen, where people's oversoul or higher self has some kind of has like almost like an aqueduct next to like a big palace is essentially what I see. And if I don't see a flow of water, this tells me there's a blockage it's mainly on this end. And what I do is I pull out the blockage, allow that water to flow, and it
Oh,
seems to
nice.
reconnect them. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
essentially the same difference. It's just in visualization. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all in how you do it, how you see it, so everybody will see differently with that. So, like for me, it activated some mediumship abilities too, because you're able to see in their auric field when you're doing the Reiki scan, all these things that will come up that maybe they need to know about, or thinking about, or that's in their auric field that maybe need to be cleared, or it might be something like the pets, that are assisting. So they'll be kind of in our space too. So I'll see those things as well, so yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There is a dog in our space. You just don't see him. He's off
Hmm.
screen, but yeah, he's close by. And I noticed when I was doing a session with him one time, he did. I mean, he sat with me during a session. He was like clung to me, but that's generally why I don't have him during sessions. But yeah, it's actually quite interesting. You and I talked off camera about some of the things you were seeing around us, and a lot of things you were seeing around this house before. Could you go into that how you do your sessions and how you conduct yourself during sessions? You can go
Yeah.
right.
When we were talking, then I usually will close my eyes when I'm talking to someone, so I can really see what they're saying and talking about. And it also allows me to go into the almost like remote view, but not being nosy or nothing. I'm just kind of seeing what's in the space, what you're really showing me, So when we were talking, then I was seeing the food dogs. I seen food dogs, and then I seen the pepper colored German Shepherd dog, and I seen him come over and like lay his head on your lap. And then I asked you, did you have a orange tabby cat? Because it's in the back and it's just like sitting like a statue. And then I seen him kind of go like this, like he was kind of blinking, And I said, wait, did he have something like with his eyes? Because he's like showing me that, because that's every symbol that they do means something, like with the blinking, because cats usually don't do that. So I'm like, he's blinking. What's wrong? Like something wrong with their eyes. And so I just kind of tune in and just ask them everything, every little detail of stuff, so like with the Sasquatch stuff too, I see like it's like a family picture above the fireplace, and you're all in that with Sasquatch, like they're your family, so I can really feel them so strong, more than any. And then the dogs, a lot of dogs, like regular dogs, like wolves, dogs, like that, not a bipedal dog. It's like the dogs, maybe guardian or something like that. Um, Lots of birds, like that red bird. I've seen the red birds outside too. Um, and I see horses, so it's gonna probably be more energy today because of all four of you here, So this yeah, so if y'all don't mind, I can kind of open up to more reading more of everybody too,
Oh,
that way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Christy, tell us, so you were doing this again, you felt really called to do it, of course, because of your son's issues. But
Yeah.
how were you younger? How were you as a child or as a teenager or a young adult?
Yeah.
Was this spirituality part of your life?
Well, I'm a twin. I have a identical twin sister, and we're both cancers, so that's like a sensitive sign and kind of introverted. So we're kind of like that. And shy, I was more shy than she was, so I felt like I was more an observer to a lot of things, and I didn't know really. I just felt everything, like a lot of like an empathy, empath. I mean, an empath where you could say no, and then I'd got my feelings hurt so easily, so sensitive to that. And so my parents, of course, were very much like more controlling in that way to where that would affect me. So I could probably turn it around and learn about it in that way. But I do remember so all growing up, I didn't remember any ET stuff at all. I'm born in 76, so it's like the only ET was the movie, and that usually like around that era too. My parents were more into going to church and stuff, so we couldn't watch MTV and those kinds of things were not, they wasn't really, there was like the devil or however, so we couldn't look at a lot of things like that or even talk about it. It wasn't really understood. So not until later in life, then they finally kind of started opening up, to me, to my son and me. Really are kind of like the aliens in the family, because my sister, she isn't as open, as she is sensitive and sees stuff, and I know she's in the programs too. But she kind of has to live a life where her husband is closed, so she has to kind of do that. And then I don't, it's just me and my son, and we live with my parents. So me and my son help my parents a lot open up, with alien stuff and, Reiki, and kind of helping them as well with the Reiki a lot, just my presence and stuff. Um, so like growing up though, I was just really introverted, sensitive, and didn't like going to school. I did not like school at all because it was just so much energy, feeling everything. And I like to draw a lot and be alone in my room to play my Barbies and Legos and ride my bicycle outside, and I would watch movies like um fighting movies like Rocky, those kinds of 80s movies and stuff too. I liked. So that's kind of something too. A lot of kids don't always like that kind of, you know, um, but so then later, then I started reading more of like Sylvia Brown books, remember her, and then Echo Bodine, and just kind of seeing I I'm wanting to open up, and I took like a dream interpretation class, and it was just like right here, and nothing was opening up all the way. And I was just trying to kept on taking different classes of things, and until Reiki, then it finally did begin to open up, so with the healing, I think I needed the healing to remove all of these blocks and stuff from me. And then after the Reiki, then I started seeing all these programs and the shadow stuff that I'd been through. Mostly it's in other realities though. So I'm seeing these things, and you know, if most people are like, am I schizophrenic? Like what is going on? Why do I see something in my mind of this or dream this, and it's really heavy, Um, so with the Reiki though, it's helped me observe it and heal it more, because it brings up the trauma for you to heal it. So it didn't happen all at once. It's in layers of that, so yeah, I'm able to observe a lot of the darker stuff without feeling it, and it's kind of helped me a lot, to because a lot of people will ask, how do you look at all this stuff? This is terrible, it's in these other realities that it happened, over here. But I'm still, over here, and it's still an aspect of me, but I'm not absorbing it anymore. I'm healing it, so yeah, but my son with his severe autistic, he's severe autism, and then he's intellectually disabled. So tuning into him and understanding him, also it's traumatizing because he's violent, hitting and stuff too. So that kind of is shaking up my whole reality, with him. And he's more, I would say, a Zeta Gray. I would say that, that he's maybe even like a walk-in of a Zeta Gray, or in some kind of a consciousness of that, so he's not emotional like how they are. And so I think that kind of has given me some infusions of their DNA as well, so I can understand him a little better too. So, so yeah, that's kind of, it's a lot of stuff, really, bunch of different layers, but it's been me and my son for the most part. So I've been infused with a lot of his energy, like we're team in a way, but then, um, here it's like we have to teach about autism because none of my family even knew about autism, so he's really sensitive too to energy, but he kind of is a shield too, like he doesn't feel, or he's confused, he'll laugh when people are crying, like autism does. So yeah.
Right, so he's got an even stronger version of you, of too much,
Mhm.
energies coming at him at one time. But I appreciate you sharing this, because I think many people have thought in the past that, like for example, for Chris and his mother Katrina, they were just born this way, and they had these skills since, the day that they were born, and
Oh,
it
no.
went down the family line. But others, again, there is no known family history, but something has come in with them. And I think people get afraid that if it's not nurtured young, that it goes away, but that's not necessarily true. I'm an example of that. You're an example of that it never really leaves. It kind of waits for the time, if it's meant to blossom out. So I like for people to know that, because I think a lot of people are having experiences that they don't understand. And it may be some of this kind of cutting on for them. And again, the same thing happened, to me. Now, I didn't go through all the Reiki that you went through, but I was just told time and time again, do something. Just take any class at all in this area. And so that's what I encourage people to do. The first class you take of something doesn't have to be the one you're going to stay in, but it begins that journey of opening up. And I just feel it's just so important for people to understand that, yes, you may not have thought of this at all in your 20s or your 30s or maybe even your 40s, but it doesn't mean it isn't there and maybe trying to, blossom out of you. So don't be afraid of it, and, explore, if you're ready for it, explore it, and, let it happen if it's meant to happen.
Mhm.
So, and of course for you, obviously it was a very big deal, because it helps you to be able to relate and communicate to your own son. So I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it does. I do recommend taking any any anything that you're kind of drawn to in that moment that will help you, whether it's painting, any kind of creativity thing too will help open up, and I do light language. I write it. Some people will think it's like doodling, and at first it kind of feels like it. I'm like, I usually I would write like this when I was little, like this cursive writing stuff, but it just looks like doodle. And when you're on the phone on hold, then you know how you have a paper and then you're just kind of writing all kinds of stuff like symbols or whatever, so it's kind of like that, where your subconscious is you're not really thinking of it. You're just kind of writing out the energy almost, or you can even listen to music and then just kind of tune into the frequency of it, and then just kind of see what your pen does, like with that, and it kind of activates it a little bit too. Or you can just make like a swirl and then have the intention of, to maybe talking to your guides and asking them to help infuse you with their knowledge or their information so you can share it with everybody. Like, I want to start writing light language. Can you give me some infusions, of your information or wisdom or DNA, or however you want to talk, to your guides and stuff, or the Sasquatch as well. You can say, like, when you're looking at them, and then you kind of sync with their energy already, and they're just telepathic, so they don't really, I don't see them too much writing stuff, you know. I mean, it might be like something like on a sign or something like a symbol, like simple stuff, you know, for them to show you, but those could mean a lot of things too, but they're more touch. It seems like they're more touch healing, you know, like they lay their hands on your head or wherever. They're like Reiki masters, you know, like that. So, and then their
Yeah,
thoughts, they just think of, you know, you hear their thoughts when you're doing
yeah, Chris
dishes or
actually had an
however.
experience. Chris had the experience the other day. He couldn't quite see it, but it actually was a Sasquatch coming through to let him know things were okay. And they definitely wanted to, touch to be able to do that. But I thought her story's so interesting, Katrina, because obviously you have Chris and your relationship, with Chris. So I didn't know if you wanted to share about that with her.
Well, I've always been psychic and seeing things from the time I was 3 that I can remember. And as I got a little older, I was at a time where it wasn't cool to talk about anything like this. You were considered crazy. You know, my grandma was very psychic, and she would tell me, just be quiet, we'll share it between us. And when I had Chris, I started to shut down. I didn't want to put him through what I had to go through. And then one day he came out and he started talking about things he was seeing and things that were happening. So I opened back up because he's extremely gifted and extremely open. And I had to make sure that I could help him with the things he didn't understand. And sometimes now the tables are turned, but we were a pair, that we made it because we were.
Mm-hmm.
We confided in each other and talked about what we saw and how we felt and whether we thought we were crazy or something was weird. And you could just talk it out. It's like seeing a dream and not quite understanding it. But if somebody else is there that can relate, it makes it clear.
That's good. Yeah, that helps a lot with someone, just to have someone to talk to that, you
Right.
know, you can talk it out and say the things that you feel are so crazy. Like I see grandma in my bedroom, mom, or whatever, you know, and then most mothers are like, "Oh no. No, you don't," you know, or just go
You're
back to bed, you know, go back to bed,
you're
or
having
just
a dream,
yeah.
it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out yelling one day in his bedroom because he said, Grandpa's sitting on my bed, and he was terrified. And I said, well, just go back in there and tell him you don't want to have it that way. Have him come in a dream or in a voice or something. You don't have to be frightened,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're 5, it is. The first
Yeah.
time something happens to you, it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. It
But
is.
if somebody can say, hey, that's going to be your normal.
Mm-hmm.
That's your normal forever. You just have to learn how to use it and how to deal with it.
Yeah, just seeing anybody come in your bedroom at night, that's scary. So if they could come in during the day or during the daytime, and so you can see and be more awake and aware, you know, then that'd be easier for us to not feel like, oh my gosh, you know, what, you know, so then, yeah, I can picture that. That would be scary. I'd rather them.
Unfortunately, they don't usually come during the daytime. You
Mhm.
wake
Yeah, in the
up and
middle of the
there they
night or
are,
1 in the morning
it's
or something.
Oh yeah, because you're still, you know, and then they're quiet too, so they can watch and
yeah.
kind of feel your energy or talk to you when they're sitting on the bed and
Hmm.
telling you or just observing how you're doing, how your life is. But they're just like over here, so they don't really ever leave, you know, you're just able to see. So you're like, Grandpa,
Yeah.
like, why are you on my bed? You know? So that is, that's scary.
Oh yeah, they pulled that. They pulled some of them have pulled practical jokes before too. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like Isaac, for instance, he's come around and he's shown himself solid in mirrors, looking back at people, or like in like underneath a pool. One time, he decided to grab my ankles and pull me down under the water,
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Both times he was actually warning us of things that were around, but he did it in a jokester way. So it's two-sided there. Where you have the joke and then you have the reality. Or he'll warn about something. Since we've been talking, there's a lot of buildup here. I can definitely feel that. There's a lot of energetic buildup.
Oh, really? How do you see that? Like, will you explain that so I can see what you're
Of
meaning?
course, yeah, I see with my physical eyes, I actually see the beings that are actually walking around. They just look transparent unless there's interference and I see it all wobbly. But I feel who it is. Like I can feel if it's a high or low or fast or slower moving. There's forest people. There were briefly some zetas that the forest people removed that weren't good. And then there's animals all over the place. And then there's a spirit family too. I can feel spirit world involvement. And there's also other dimensional involvement too. Sometimes certain beings don't translate right to the human brain. They'll just look like a mist or something like that coming through. Or like if there's say a ghost, sometimes they will look like the classic white, look if you're not translating it correctly or it's not dimensionally translating. Sometimes things will look that way. Sometimes forest people will look like shadows. And sometimes even grays will look like shadows too. But in this instance, I'm seeing several forest people. I'm actually sensing more spirit world contact. Isaac and several others are here as well. And it just keeps growing. I believe it's because we're all on here. So but they're actually protecting this call. It looks like so negative forces don't try to channel or don't try to give messages. We usually start out with the law of one in the beginning for that reason. Also, we start out. I was supposed to say I open the circle to true benevolence with no conflicting agendas. That's usually how I begin as well. And I make sure that usually filters out any of the rabble that try to get through. But the law of one suffices for that as well.
Yeah, like on a
Um,
spaceship, like a protected spaceship or something, or in a toroidal field, and then they're just listening in, from the
mhm.
outside. Hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But they're waiting for some. I guess they're waiting for questions or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
what about Katrina? What do you see around as far as like the energy or beings or anything?
Well, I've seen solid, like just like looking at you and me. I've seen shadows. A lot of people think dark shadows are negative. Not necessarily. It's just the dimension difference. I've seen apparitions that you see through, but most of the time anymore, I just sense. I'll see it in my head. And because they know that I'm not too fond of just having something surprise me.
Hmm.
In fact, every night before I go to bed, said, you can come around, but you can't touch.
Right.
I don't want to be touched. And most of them honor that, because it is a awful feeling to be touched, even if it's coming from somebody that loves you,
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
and but if I wake up like at 1 or 2 or 3, it's usually because somebody's watching me.
Mm.
I used to interact. I don't so much unless I really think it's important. Most of the time, I just roll over and go back to sleep. But I've seen all different things, dreams that are very real, or I'll be sitting and see a vision in front of my face. But most of the time, it's sensing. I sense more and I feel. It's gotten to be more of a emotional thing, or
Mm.
like when Sasquatch comes through, my face will tingle and I'll get warm.
They're here right now.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
here.
okay.
And
Laverne feels
Laverne,
it. Hmm.
he gets it in his temples
Oh,
really,
okay.
and he has seen one right up face to face.
Hmm.
We
Oh,
lived in Prescott, Arizona, and we had a big screened-in porch, and he went out to take our little schnauzer out, Winston. And as he went out, there was one standing in the screen
yeah.
door.
I see that. Yeah.
And
Makes my eyes water for truth when truth is
yeah,
being spoken. Yeah.
he just froze and he came back in. He never said anything. He just kind of was, you know, uh, stunned and went back out and he was still standing there.
Yeah. See that.
As he went to walk over to the door, he disappeared.
Hmm.
And he said his name was Seymour.
Seymour.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Laverne, tell me more about the Sasquatch then, like with
Um,
seeing.
she told you I just stood there at the door. He was in the backyard and it couldn't have been more than 4 feet away from me. And I was looking eyeball to eyeball. I thought he was more like about 6 foot, but when I started to figure out the steps and everything else, he's like 8 to 9 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time out, we just stared at each other. And I reached down to get a flashlight so I could take the dog out the back. And he disappeared when I turned back around. So then the second time, a couple hours later, he was standing there, same thing. So all I did was say, thought friend. And
Mhm.
then I reached down to get it, and he was gone again. But the funny thing, prior to us even moving to Arizona, I had a dream about a Sasquatch, and we met, and he disappeared down a hole. And all I did was go up to the hole and holler down, all I want to do is be friends. And he came back up and we gave each other a big hug. And then I woke up and never did see no one anything else. That's the first time I'd ever had anything like that interaction
Mhm.
in my dreams. And then lo and behold, I see one in Arizona. But the funny part is that night prior to this, me seeing Seymour, she says, I wonder what would happen if one showed up. Katrina did.
Mhm.
And
You already knew probably in a way,
Uma
huh?
jumped up by the window and scared her.
I didn't have the flinch test. No,
Yeah, there's a flinch test that they do.
yeah, and I was just sitting there. I looked up out of the screen and he just popped up and I went, disappeared,
And I was reaching down to get the schnauzer picked
Yeah.
up so he could see, so I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
So then they sent Seymour then.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were around us all the time in Prescott.
You could hear the footsteps when you're out back. You can hear them going around the gravel and everything around us and stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
when Chris came there to live, one night he was laying there and they came past his wall and window and just banged really hard on the side.
No, actually, they banged on the side
Scared
with
him
an
to
open,
death.
open hand on the side of the
House.
house,
That house.
shook the house, and then that's Seymour's brother, howled as loud as he could, went, ah, and then when they do the classic, ah, and they yell like that, and then ran up the rocks that were nearby, and I heard him going, like that. So it was like, so that was basically welcoming us to the area, but it was like, it was hard enough hit on the house to where you felt the house move a little bit,
Yeah.
but we thought that was funny. They throw rocks at the house. The first one I ever met was by the name of Telnorskus, and he introduced himself in Nebraska when we were there years ago. So, but then he introduced all the rest to us after that. He
Yeah.
was more of a forefather of all of them. They call themselves the Anakim. They were the ones that originally came from space, and their genetic lineage is actually here. The ones people call Sasquatch. So, so they started out as ET and then became more terrestrial here. So after a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, he introduced himself, and then yeah, Seymour did. I have photographs of him and Fuma and Seymour in our collection. It's actually pretty interesting because they we went up to Thumb Butte and took pictures of it. That's in Prescott, and they were hesitant for photographs at first, but every now and again they will let you do it. They will show themselves enough to where they will let you do it.
So
And
do y'all send the Sasquatch around me? Like anything with that too?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it's
So I
definitely
need to be more open to communicating with them then, huh?
Right.
You know?
Now, I would communicate with Fuma the most back in Arizona, but the other night he was here, so they are territorial to a point, but they can
they can
move.
portal to different places too.
Right.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, if you could reach back and get that picture that's back here of him. We have an actual photo of him back here. And
Yeah.
then
So like my dad was he can hear and see in his mind too. And he's here as well. So we have dogs in the backyard and he hears voices though, so he's kind of gets confused of, and I think it's interdimensionals that he's hearing, but he can't quite make it out like the radio station of what they're saying exactly. And then he saw the dogs were barking really like something was at the fence, and he saw in his mind like a orb come up, and then it opened up, like he said, it looked like King Kong almost, like opened up his mouth like that to the dogs, and then they stopped barking like, oh, and then it just went shrunk back down and then zoomed off, he saw in his mind, so I figured that that was probably a Sasquatch or
Yeah,
how,
this is him right here. Yeah,
He was phasing in, not all the way
Oh,
through.
yes, I see that. Uh-huh.
yeah, that's
That's
Fuma right
Uma.
there.
Uh-huh.
We would take them food. They loved those sour candies,
Jolly Rogers.
Jolly Rogers.
Oh,
They
nice.
always were asking for that. They didn't like, they weren't supposed to eat chocolate, but they would ask for it. But we would take nuts,
Mhm.
peanuts,
And apples.
and one time we took up a bag of something and left it there. And then about 2 days later, we came out the back porch and the empty bag was laying on our steps.
Yeah.
So we knew they had gotten it. It only did that once, but that was their way of showing us that they understood we were gifting them.
Oh, that's good. They'd love to know. Yeah, I go out there and I gift I see a possum on our camera, but I know that that's the area that I lay in with my crystals and stuff, from Arkansas. I lay in that whole area, so a lot of activity right over here by my bedroom too. It's just right outside here. That's where they came in through too. So I don't ever feel them invading any kind of also a wolf or dog like, but not dog man the negative, but more of a however would be, maybe that too. Um so yeah,
Where do you live?
in Southeast Oklahoma.
Oh,
Southeast
okay.
Yeah, they say like this area is right here by Arkansas too, so it's in the
Near the
like
Ozarks.
yes, so it's
Mhm.
chair
Ozarks is a hot spot. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
very much so.
this is Choctaw Nation land, and then Cherokee land up there, by the so it's a lot of Native American, and I'm Native American, Cherokee, and Muskogee Creek, so it's like kind of the energy of my dad, from my dad's side. So we kind of we see and dream things, and hear things and sense it, and probably targeted in that way as well, because we'll both wake up and we're in a bad mood. We're kind of at the same time. But my mom doesn't, she kind of blocks it out. She doesn't feel those. She's like, I don't know, I don't feel anything, so yeah, so that's, and then my son, he doesn't live here anymore. He moved to a group home, because of his violent outbursts every day in the car and everything, so he lives in a group home where he's safe now, in a safe place. And then I'm here, so it's kind of better for both of us to, because he didn't care either way, really. He's just kind of teaching them how autistic people are, and so I have to focus on my own thing too, to separate, to live my life now in a way. So that's just started this year, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah, I just know they're packing in around you
I
for the
feel real
most part.
hot. I feel real hot.
Um,
Yeah,
um,
the heat
even think about it.
just in
Okay,
my
let me
face
see.
got hot.
That's he Isaac wanted to talk and all the
Oh yes,
Sasquatch is blocking him, so it's like no. They wanted to be the ones to actually communicate with you. They're bringing the temperature up because that's how it feels when they're
yeah,
around. They're packed
yeah.
around you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can even smell them. That's how strong this is. So
Really?
yeah, no, Isaac, they don't need deodorant. Thank you. Okay, let me see.
What's strange, Chris, is what she's feeling, we're feeling.
You feel the
Yeah.
heat
Oh yeah,
too?
I'm
Uh-huh.
sweating
I
right now.
think
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
the same being.
it's the same one. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Like,
there and here.
yeah, like I feel sweaty. I feel like I'm outside, in 85 degrees,
Mhm,
inside my body and outside, it's hot. So I feel
mhm.
that.
Oh yeah, I can actually smell the hair and all this other stuff. So that's how strong that is. But yeah, I think what they're doing is first, when you do your read and read of the energy and everything, they'll I think what they're doing is they're blocking all the negativity. And then at the end of the show, I go into the verbal channeling, but they're more than likely going to be the ones to do that because there's a ton of them here. There's one big one here. Oh, hang on. And I thought this was going to be Seymour for a moment, but I think we have Telnorskus in here actually. Uh, so then there's Seymour. I know damn well he's here. And then Puma. I know damn well he's here too. Yeah.
Puma's really with her.
Okay,
Oh yeah. Puma's with
Very
you.
much
Yeah. Most
over your
definitely.
left shoulder.
right here over this side.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's like boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does he look like? If you're seeing him, is he like a chocolate color,
He's
brown?
different.
He's black like his pic. He's
Yeah,
black
he's
like that.
different than
With
most.
no neck.
With
So
the no
his
neck.
head's like right on his body. No
Yeah, he's
neck.
like
Okay.
this.
Kind of
So
He's got
ape-like.
kind of a round head instead of that long hair that's hanging real in that kind of the rectangle head that they have but his is round. He, like you said, King Kong. I would say he was closer to looking like that, but with more hair and different eyes. His eyes aren't as inset as Seymour's or others, but they're all related, but
Mhm.
it's just like, just because one's a brother doesn't mean they look alike. So,
Mhm.
but they're all different colors.
Yeah. So
Seymour's
Puma.
red. He's red colored, he has that orangutan tone to him,
Yeah.
that reddish. And Puma's black. Their grandfather has a reddish tone to him. Uh, and several of their brothers are black or gray. Like Morak and Mirnak are their two brothers, and they're one's like jet black, like really jet black, and then that's Morak, and then Mirnak is like salt and pepper color. He has some gray, and like my beard, he kind of has that in him. And they have a sister named Masi or Masa, but you don't hear from her too often.
Yeah. I hear her in my mind a girl's voice. Like she seems a lot younger, like she would be a little sister to them or something, or just a family member, but it's like she's a younger kid. So they kind of make her, they don't really, she's like, you know how they would be with kids or something, like it seems like she she's not old enough to be up front yet or something, or you know maybe she just is learning stuff. Does that seem right with that with her?
Yeah, she had there was a boy child, and then there was a female Sasquatch that had a child. I believe he called him Timo at the time, and you got a picture of him too at one point where you caught him in a tree.
Like Corky.
Corky, okay, there's two different ones, then there's
Yeah,
Corky and
Corky came
Timo.
in
Yeah.
Arizona.
Uh, Timo was a baby when I saw him, and so was Corky. And then I caught Timo later as like a 3 or 4 year old later on in time. And then Masi was their mother, I believe. I believe no, Corky is Fuma's child, and
No, Fuma's the uncle. He's Seymour's child.
Timo's child. Okay, I
Mhm.
mixed that up. The Timo is Masi's child. Then I mixed
Right.
that up. Sorry. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're like damn right. Okay, so I just heard that. See, they'll use our language if they're around us enough. They'll
Yes.
start to use our witticisms and idioms and stuff like that. So telepathically, because they'll use the words you're
Yeah.
used to hearing. So.
Who's the one that's sitting back in the chair kind of like this with the leg crossed over, just like listening, they're kind of like this. Somebody's over there watching like that.
One of the forest people, you mean?
I think so. I think it's somebody like that. Yeah.
Or is it Isaac?
Oh no,
Oh, it might
that's
be.
Isaac. He has
Okay.
big red hair. So yeah,
Yeah, that's Isaac.
he's
Yep.
back there like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
they told him to shut up, so it's like
Yeah.
so that's why he's back there like that. Because he was going to come in and start being raunchy and everything. They're like, no. They're
Yeah.
like, no, you stay
Yeah.
here.
So Isaac, has he told you anything that he went running? I seen it when I was jogging. He appeared and like jogging, all of a sudden he was jogging backwards, like looking at me like he's like, so this is what you do, you just jog, or and then, oh, are we gonna pick up the pace, like he's still jogging backwards. And then I was telling him, show me how fast you can run around the track. And he was like, shoom, and he was already back. And I was like, dang, you're fast, so I was having like a whole conversation with him. And I said, why is your hair red? Why do you like your red hair? And he goes, because it's cool, and I was like, okay. And then he was showing me like a different look, like he was like almost like a break dancer outfit on, where he had on like a mask, a ski mask, like for, just as an outfit kind of thing. And he was dancing around like Vanilla Ice. I was thinking that, I'm like, he's like Vanilla Ice dancing, and he would, in that Cool as Ice movie, he's like, drop that zero and get with the hero, and I was like, this is him, and then I was tanning and I said, Isaac, I'm tanning, he goes, so, and he just was like, why are you tanning for, like, what are you tanning your skin for, and he just asked all these questions. I'm like, because I want to be dark, not like you're all pale, and he's like, ooh. So it's like all kinds of, all back and forth. So I don't know. I think sometimes I'm making, how you think you're making it up, but you just like, this is new stuff. So, I don't ever think this. So it has to be, and he just waited for me on the outside, and he just goes on about stuff, and, yeah, he reminds me of a lot of like Vanilla Ice, his little, kind of flirty kind of lingo way, of that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. That is pretty funny. You compared him to that, because he's sitting back. All the Force people went like that. So, but yeah, that fits into a T. Yeah, everybody she caught him on camera, but it's too faint to completely see him. I knew what I was looking for in the picture. I knew what everybody looks like. So yeah, you caught him in a photograph, which is actually not easy to get a photograph of him.
Oh,
So
mhm.
at all, unless he really, really, really wants it. It's just like with the forest people, unless they want it, you're not going to get it. A
Oh,
lot of people pester him for photos and evidence all the time, and they don't give it unless they're ready. Like if you see a footprint, they gave that to you as a gift, and like the bad guys get caught in photos too, but they don't always mean it. But with Isaac, you rarely, rarely see him in a
mhm.
photograph like
Yeah,
that.
he's too fast. Mhm.
Yeah, he zips around
Mhm.
like Clark Kent or something. So it's like that, And with the forest people, they will allow recordings and stuff like that of them very briefly. Like if they have like their orbs and stuff flying around and everything, they will allow maybe a few minutes, and then they will tell you they're done. And they
Mhm.
do not like ghost boxes or any of the
Right.
paranormal equipment and
Mhm.
stuff like. They hate it.
Right.
They hate like the infrared and all that other stuff, unless it's a particular tribe that allows you to do it for like a small period of time. And it's very seldom they allow that kind of stuff because a lot of the garbage comes through on there if people don't guard against it, people don't ward against it, and they don't like getting attacked from whoever is trying to come through on the equipment.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
a lot of the bad guys, like some Orion factions and stuff, will use it, and
Yep.
military factions use it.
Yep.
So I use them. I use the ghost boxes, but I do it away from the home, away from the house. So I don't do it here. Like we'll go out to the beach and use it or something like that. And then the ones that get annoyed with doing that are the myrmidons. So they'll get annoyed if you do it out there. But yeah, oh, it's like everybody's waiting for something. Oh, they're waiting for you to do your
Cards, the card
yeah.
reading, they want to see. Okay. How
They're
do
waiting for
y'all
that.
how do you want to do this with all of it, like as a group thing, like pull the cards for the whole group of us like that, like all of like that way, or how do you want to do or just like pull?
Why don't we just let do a reading for Katrina and Laverne?
Yeah.
Okay. And I can always just pull like a few cards for each of us like that and then just show, but I'll do that first. Yeah, I see them now like listening and stuff. So all right. I do feel Fuma now right here watching me.
No pressure.
Yes.
Yeah. That
They said they're at least not stalking you like Isaac would in the tanning bed.
yeah.
Yeah. Or on the track
Yeah.
too. So that's funny. Yeah, he's just sitting back like,
He's like Vanilla Ice to me. Yeah.
yeah. They laugh every time you say that. They're like, yeah, they go, yeah, he's white enough. Yes. Yeah, okay. So Seymour especially laughs if anybody makes fun of Isaac. So yeah, that's like that's funny. Hmm.
I'm shuffling them still right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
I did add Sasquatch in here because I don't remember if I had him in here already, but I did add it. You know, just for the reading too, to keep it up to date. You know, as I meet new people and their things, and I'll add it to the card deck too because I learn more. Okay, so I'll tune in to Katrina and then tune into Laverne pulling the cards. Okay, first.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. You see you planting flowers, Laverne. I mean, Katrina, I see you outside planting flowers in the garden, like something like that. I hear you humming a lot too. Do you hum a lot, Katrina?
Once in a while I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hum.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, she does.
I think you do it so unconsciously.
Yeah, I don't even know I'm doing it. And then somebody will say, well, what song is that? And I don't even know what I'm.
Yeah.
Do you crochet?
No, I can't crochet. I can knit. It's been
Knit?
a long
Okay,
time.
knit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
My grandmother crocheted though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
my mom crocheted and she was very good at that.
okay. Now, all right. This is for Katrina. So the first one is the praying mantis.
Oh.
I had the
Oh.
praying mantis as one of my guides, you know, so they're infused in a lot of the energy and stuff too, with sharing their frequency. So this would be like a teacher. What do y'all feel from that one? Anything, if you
Um,
feel anything, you can just say whatever you feel.
No, yeah, I don't always associate with mantises because there are diamonds in the rough that are good. I've run into mainly the marauder type ones that abduct people, but then there
Oh,
are other groups of them that
yeah.
are good too.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I'm not getting a bad feeling from this one. This is there's other forces that are trying to convolute something here. This is why the forest people are around, but this one isn't necessarily bad.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually pretty strong. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
mm,
Okay. So the underwater city.
Mm.
So this is gonna be I just thought of like Lemuria or
Yes.
yeah,
Or Moo.
Lemuria. Or Moo, yes.
Yeah, when I went to Hawaii, I went to Maui, and for some reason I went out on this black sand beach, and I just started sobbing, and I couldn't understand
Mm,
why. And I kept thinking, right down so many feet out was this giant crystal, and that I had been in that water. That was at one time my home. Now,
mm,
whether it was underwater or it was above water, but it was really moving, and I've never forgot that feeling. Like
mm-hmm,
there was just something more. And I've had that feeling here when we went down to the ocean, like there's just something there that wants to say something, you
And you
mm-hmm.
know.
had that experience. You felt like the dolphins were talking to you.
Yeah, I
Yep.
did. I had a vision of a dolphin coming up and me going in the water, and the ocean lit up and we swam through the water, and they were telling me things were going to be okay, and that it would be a tough time, but everything would turn out okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just and then we went down one day, and all of a sudden there was a dozen of them swimming around close to the beach, just as we were standing by the uh,
Yeah.
guard there, the
What
boardwalk, and
what
saw.
did you feel from that? Like how did that make you feel?
I know it sounds kind of weird, but I felt like they were showing up for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, coming to say hi, like a memory of you, of
Mhm.
your frequency and everything too. So
Uh,
these blue guys, what do y'all feel from them?
It kind of startled me for a minute.
Yeah.
For a second, yeah.
I don't know whether I've seen him. You know,
Mhm.
I am a alien abductee,
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
and
you're picking up
so
on that part. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm not, you know, I I don't have a lot of positive things. I have had it, but
Mhm.
most of them you don't usually remember the positive, you remember the negative.
Yeah, because they're not emotional, you know, when they
No.
take you, and so they're just like no emotion. So, and it's not ever, it doesn't ever feel positive in anything. Even like the praying mantis, but so it's more coming out of that sleep and then seeing them in a different way of maybe on a ship as a teacher teaching, you know, people that it's like the scholar or the master teacher kind of teaching about things or symbols or some science or you know something like that. They all seem kind of like that, like scientist mind, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of those skinned ones as well. I believe those guys are a type of Zeta. Oh, that's I've encountered in Nebraska. I encountered a couple of them, two brothers. They called themselves Tufi and Trauben. I ran into them in
Okay.
Nebraska, and there was like a odd telepathic signal I was getting out there, and I didn't know who that
Mhm.
was, so I just pinged it back. And that night I remember walking outside and seeing just men in black, and I remember seeing a normal looking guy in like a geek-like person, you know, that you'd see in a computer lab or something. White shirt, black pants, and he stops, then he turns, looks at me, goes, "What do you want?" And and then I just said I wanted to know more about his people. And then he stops a second and he turns around and he takes his shroud down. He looks like one of those guys. And
Mhm.
the other one that was with him tore him a new one for breaking disguise
Oh.
protocol.
Mhm.
But he was actually one that looked like that. I'm thinking those are them. I'm thinking that's these two guys.
Yeah, as they showed up.
Zetas I lost trust with after a while because there were so many negative ones in Arizona that messed with us but I do recognize there's like three or four different kinds. So
Well,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, a lot.
it's just the acknowledgement that they have
yeah,
been in her life.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
you can agree with that, Katrina. They have been
Oh,
in your life.
definitely. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, they just kind of startled me when I
Yeah.
saw it
Yeah.
because, you know, it
Mhm.
isn't all positive feelings.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the truth of it.
That's the
yeah.
truth of it.
That's the
Yeah.
truth of
Yeah.
it.
So this is the cards are going to kind of be like this to bring up memories so you can release them, you know, for the healing and stuff too. So
Okay.
some of it's buried that you're like, oh, I didn't even remember that until now, you know, so that's kind of the reason. So this is going to be these are like the ant people, mantis kind of in Arizona is what I
Isaac took
think.
that for him for a little bit too. Yeah, yeah.
Now, that's Isaac, isn't it?
One
Yeah,
of his forums,
one of
one of his
his lives.
forums, one of
He's
his
Oh,
lives.
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He's like an ant person.
Yeah,
yeah.
he was in a
Oh,
past life. He was one of the ant people that helped the native people back
oh,
in
wow.
that time frame. Yeah.
That's
Uh,
why he was wanting to connect with me then. You said he was wanting to you to connect with me. Mm-hmm.
mhm.
How
Yeah.
so? Okay, so this says it's a time jumping, you know, you're time jumping probably all the time, you know,
Uh,
where you would just be kind of doing the dishes, humming, and then you just are taking go like out to the wherever to the woods or in the laundry room, you know, just to
yeah,
and then you enter another time and then come back, you know, to do a
yeah,
mission of some sort, you know.
yeah. I've been told that I'm a like a dream walker, that I go and I sometimes help people cross.
Oh, okay, I see that. Uh-huh, because I think you just kind of can just keep hearing you humming, you know. So I think your humming kind of assists them in transitioning, you know, like something like that. Like it's
Interesting.
so it's kind of something like that. Not it's there's something more too, but there's something with humming, but it's more what is it? That it's I mean you can talk to them and tell them, you know, but you kind of don't want to interfere either what they're you just kind of are holding the energy too. Maybe like the maybe like the way or What do you think with that? So it's
I just
something.
pick up toning to kind of guide,
Hmm.
just use your voice in different tones to move people in the right direction.
Yeah. Hmm. Because
That
I
makes
can
some
see you
sense.
using your mind to as a telekinesis, with like moving objects with stuff too, like you're at a computer screen and it's like you're like selecting things, like
Mhm.
maybe somewhere, somewhere else or wherever you go to, and then you're just creating all these different things though. I just see you doing a lot of stuff up here at the computer and you're by yourself in this place, so it's, yeah, I don't see anybody in there because you like to have the whole spread out, you want to see it all so you know what you're looking at and dealing with, and you just can navigate like a navigator kind of person, so.
Mhm.
Oh, I got it. Bigfoot family.
Oh, yeah,
Cool. I just put these
definitely.
in here too, and I was shuffling them, so I said, show me because I was guided to right before the thing to write those out, and I was like, okay, and then I put them all throughout all these cards, so keep moving forward.
I'm trying, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm. And here's another portal.
Hmm.
Yeah, out in the woods or something, that's what it feels.
Hmm. Hmm.
Here's another mantis. This one's different, another place,
Blue-headed one. Yeah. I've seen blue ones too before. Yeah. Hmm.
Hmm.
maybe another planet too, like that. You can open stargates with your psi abilities, your psionic power, your mental power.
I've closed a few.
Hmm.
Yeah, we've
Even
done
with
that
your
too.
toning too, you can do it, like just
Mhm.
closing and sealing it
I
up.
don't think I'm always even aware what I'm doing when I'm humming, but it
Hmm.
makes sense to me now.
Hmm.
Well, that, and again, I think people never give credit to what they're doing when they're sleeping. You
Yeah,
know, what you're like a dream walker and what you're actually doing. You think I'm not doing anything, but there's 24 hours in a day, and people have no idea what they're going off to
I
do when they're
know.
sleeping.
Yeah, I see you when you're driving a lot, humming, but it's like you're doing a lot of things too, like you're in a different state at times, and you wonder,
Well, the radio is always blasting, and I know every word to every song.
oh,
And so I'm constantly, and Laverne can vouch for that. I sing every song that comes on the radio,
really? Uh-huh. Yeah.
Unless she hates it.
unless then I change the channel.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
no, it's yeah, I can see music is important,
Mm-hmm.
very
Yeah.
important to me.
Yeah. Okay, and so here's some light language. This feels kind of the ocean energy, I thought
Yeah,
at
that
first.
bottom left would be Chris.
That's the Aquarius one. Yeah.
Oh,
One
okay.
equals
Yeah, it's quantum light
the,
language. So
the
it's got,
two equals one. Hmm, interesting. Huh.
Looking Atlantean knowledge.
Oh yeah,
Think that went with this, maybe some symbols from Atlantis,
yeah. Like the bottom two waves and
Mm-hmm.
that. Yes, definitely.
yeah, the leadership there, like Poseidon and also Odin that came from that quantum light language, they were able to burn that into surfaces and be able to absorb the information. They had true disclosure in that in the game Skyrim, where you'd absorb the dragon language and stuff like that out of
Mm-hmm.
the word walls. That's what they were depicting in that was the quantum light language was
Yeah.
essentially what it was. Mm.
So, and this is blinking, and when it's blinking for me, that means like it's truth being told, like a open up for more communication for whatever you want,
Yeah, I think I've shut down a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It was blinking it doesn't always blink, so I know that that's a message for the person if it blinks, like that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a deep underground military base in the other realities being
Oh yeah.
taken to there and utilized for your psionic abilities as a remote viewer. You know, with your opening up the stargates for it's like the military, and they take your genetics and then they make clones and all of that, you know, so it's not a positive thing with that, but that happens as well as both the positive and the negative, you know, so it's just coming to awareness that that is happening. And I think we're able to take our power back in that way, like it doesn't affect us as much. I don't think so if you don't feel fear for that, you know, because you got all this protection and stuff, and you can call on more protection. But I don't think that, I think this was before. I don't know if you're still taken or not, but you would
Yeah,
be
I think I am.
you do.
Yeah, you know, I don't,
Yeah.
I can tell to a point, you know,
hmm
just by the dreams you can,
Yeah.
you know, by the location you're in, you know.
Yeah. Because they would have you in at a table, like investigation looking table, but they would make you open up a portal, and then they would have you look into that and manipulate time things, or go into the portal and do something there and come back, and then they return you back to your bed, you know, so it's small jobs like that. And even a psionic assassin too, where you could assassinate with your mind, like just think it with the thought, you know, like then
Mhm.
they're gone, you know, like they have you do a lot of psionic work, so you might feel
Okay.
tired when you wake up, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
but they would give you, I think they give us like these shots and stuff too to erase the memory, you know, so you don't remember anything, or electroshock, you know, or something like that too, so your mind wiped, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But the older I get, the more I remember,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you know, so they can't block me too easily anymore,
that's good. Yeah,
you
you
know,
remembering more.
so, no, I can remember some things, you know, but I don't really want to, but
Right.
unfortunately you do remember.
Yeah, and this is the last one here. Um, telepathic and remote viewing. We just was saying that. So,
Yeah,
mhm,
I've done that in reads, a lot of remote.
mhm, where you can see stuff, like you're just like here, and then you just can read out other things, you know, like just appears in your vision too, you know,
Yes.
like that. So, okay, I'll shuffle them for Laverne now. So,
Boy.
yeah, now we'll see.
I'm just so mesmerized by that picture behind her.
Yeah,
The wolf, yeah.
Wolf.
I have it for like a guardian, you know, with that, because we're a Cherokee Wolf clan, you know.
mhm.
So we even had a dog wander up on the property, and you know, we just, I don't know, I guess he was attracted to the light, and he didn't belong to anyone, you know, and he's a big dog too, and he just loved me as soon as I started talking to him, licking my face, and I was like, wow, he's like in love with me. And I never had a big dog before. We're like little dogs, you know, like here is little dogs. So I'm a cat person because you know, they're not as high maintenance as a dog, you know.
Oh, I don't
So
know.
Still
The
gotta clean
cats
the
I've
litter
had
box.
have been high.
Still gotta clean that litter box.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the Sasquatch. I feel that heat again, you know.
Mhm.
Ooh, it got hot again. Is it hot to y'all?
Yeah, that's I'm
Oh,
getting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like you turned up the heater like a sauna in here now. Laverne's got some big time Sasquatch, huh? They're like, get on with the show. All right.
I've, I've got the pressure.
Yeah, there's
What?
multiple groups vying for attention, though the Sasquatch hold the majority, but it's there's a couple others that were like, hello.
Laverne, do you have the praying mantis? Have you seen them before, like in childhood? The praying mantis, you
Just
know?
the insects around here, I've never really
Never seen an
I've
alien.
never seen the aliens or anything like that.
Yeah.
You guys do remember, I remember from Nebraska, there was some activity there, you guys said, but,
Well, yeah, that's, but he don't remember anything.
oh, okay.
It's just me. But if something comes up, I'll remember it for him.
Mm-hmm. See, Laverne, I like speaking the Sasquatch kind of a language. It's more of a deep kind of gurgle, like or something, like that kind of a song to them. And then they're like right in, like they're holding their hands up to the screen to them, and then they're just doing stuff too, like maybe an infusion or just giving you information, and then they touch your head like that, it's like they do that kind of stuff. Uh, if you're meditating or not meditating, it's
Um,
just like you're in a trance almost, and then I see you floating, like they can float you, out. So you go out and then maybe go in through a portal there in the grass out in the field or something like that. You're being teleported, like floating, and I think you're being taken onto their ship, is what to the Sasquatch, yeah, it's like if they're, yeah. Do you see that? Do you see them like opening up the door, welcoming you on the ship?
I haven't seen that. I just like I say, the first time I really had any remembrance is in a dream before I went to Arizona. And one went down a hole and he came back up after I said all I wanted to do was be his friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he came back up then and gave me the big hug. And that's about the only thing I can remember prior to anything.
Mm-hmm. Do you talking to them though now and having communication, like and asking them to do
Oh,
things for you
out,
and
out in
anything?
Arizona, when I used to walk the hills and stuff all the time, I could always feel them and I would be talking to them and they were always guarding me from a distance because there was always wooded areas. So they was
Mm-hmm.
always close by.
Mm-hmm.
I
Watching,
could
yeah.
tell it was either Seymour or Fuma, but then one day it was felt different. And that person told me his name was Morok.
Yeah,
That was
because you
guarding me.
walk through, I think you'd like walk through portals or something. So they kind of watch to make sure that that doesn't happen, like or something. Because I think you have like the fairies too with you, like they sometimes trick the reality and show you something, and you think you're walking into this, and then it's not really that, and then so you'll keep walking, and they trick you or something in that way or something. So those Sasquatch will kind of are watching to make sure that they kind of ground you or keep you awake, like so your mind isn't just like wandering like this, it's more like focused, or they talk to you the whole time so you're focused, and then that doesn't happen, so do you remember anything with fairies, seeing like a fairy land, like something with that with fairies?
No, years when I was younger, I used to always go out hunting, but I never did care if I got anything. I just like to be out there
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy the nature.
Yeah,
So
like the
as far as
owl
I know,
just
they could
showed
have been
me.
outside by me
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have known it.
Do you have a spirit animal owl? The owl? Because it seemed one like looking in the tree, like the brown owl, looking right now, and
I've
the
always
one you're
had
walking.
horned owls around me and
Mm-hmm.
everything else,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
out
Okay.
there and that. And I've always heard them and that, so I knew what they were.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's this genetic manipulation. So in so this could even be like with the Sasquatch, then how they take our genetics so they can make hybrid or however too, or infuse you with their genetics as well, so you can communicate with them more telepathically, or give you an infusion to for healing too, because I think they heal us as well, And I think with that heat heals too, Yeah. I think so. Feel it go into, it does its thing, I guess. Like it feels like I got like a big old blanket over my whole head, and it just is hot right now, very hot. So the water element, um, this is, you know, something you might work with the water, the streams of water, where you could bless the water so that you could, you know, when you're drinking it, then it would be more like the intention of drinking it for healing, or blessing. You can even like call in the rain if you want to, like call in the rain element. Do you ever do that?
Not that I can recall
Hmm.
doing that. If I
Yeah.
did it, it was kind of, if it was dry or something, I might have thought, I wish it would rain or something like that, but I don't personally
Hmm.
just go out and try and call it in.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like if you're needing it, like if it's, or if it's like a tornado coming or something, then you would be able to look at the weather thing, the map, and see that it's coming, um and then talk to it, you know, or drum, where you're drumming and you're kind of dispersing it, you know, or you could ask for rain to come if you hadn't had it. I think it comes when you need it, not just playing with it, you know, like that. Your intention is for, because the land needs it or something, so you pull it in, but you visualize it. So visualizing, you know, you're real good at the visualization of stuff, of visualizing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe what to interpret that, I believe it's like because you do it unconsciously, like you don't want something to happen, like you don't want a storm coming through, or you want it coming into play. I believe it's done
Yeah,
subconsciously.
I do
Yeah.
it. I do it all the time when we have tornadoes here. Then I'll see myself up into the clouds, and then I just break them apart, you know, with my energy and like healing energy to them. And then just kind of go out there and just, you know, like it's real calm and stuff. And so you're just kind of healing that chaotic energy, you know? So, yeah. So here's this one is mind control experiment. So I don't know. Seems like, were you in the military or anything? Were
No,
you?
I never was.
This might be like on the secret, like another place too, you know, with that, because what is that? It's like, I think it would be. Do you do remote viewing too? Do you?
No, I do not do
Yeah,
remote. I, until I met Katrina, I was kind of searching for answers and stuff until I met her.
yeah. So, but
Then she kind of got me a straight and narrow then.
there's something though with your mind, you know, like in the programs, you know, so you might have been taken now because Katrina's taken too, so they want to take you too to see, you know, all these things as well. Um, I feel like you're more intuitive though, like like psychic intuitive, where you feel it, you know,
I do more
where,
feeling than anything.
yeah, because you can feel that the stuff, you know. So yeah. Okay, this is like the star ancestors, and you know, they have those on the petroglyphs. Contact with your star ancestors.
Yeah.
So
Can you
did
get
you see any of those petroglyphs there, New Mexico or Arizona?
Never did actually go and see them. I
Hmm.
knew they were on there. Never did actually go and see them.
Yeah. So this is more like Pleiadian, I think, energy, or Syrian, those the beings, you know, that are the star ancestors of the Native American, and they're in communication, you know, like on ceremonies, and then they would call them in, you know, in their ceremonies, and then they would see those beings appear, the ant people, you know, the Pleiadians, they had all these. So um do you do drumming? Do you do the drum?
I
The
was a
shaman?
drummer in high school.
Okay. Yeah, so that kind of puts you in a different state of mind. Like you just almost like an altered state, you know? And then really fast too. You just have to just do it a few times, and then you're gone. You can like shoot out of your body or something, you know? So do y'all see that too with
Yeah,
within
he's
that?
very connected to Native American.
Oh, okay.
And he loves the music and the drumming and the flutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like when we went on our honeymoon, we left Four Corners. We went to the Four Corners on our honeymoon. And when we went through New Mexico and got into Arizona, I just turned to her and I said, I'm home.
Oh, yeah, New Mexico, New
The
Mexico or Arizona?
northeastern Arizona. I says,
Yeah.
I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
I'm home
Yeah. Right
on a
there by
honeymoon.
the thing. Yeah, by Shiprock. Did you
And
ever
we
go to
went past
Shiprock?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm drawn to that area too, to Shiprock, and then there's the Chaco Canyon and all of that right there is when I want to,
Yeah.
and that whole upper area too, right where you said, with the petroglyphs and monuments and all of that. I think it's maybe the ant people. Do you feel the heat from the ant people like that? Like it would be a lot of heat in your head, and seeing that they would go and then they help the people there go inner earth when that cataclysm, when the great flood, or when the earth changed, and they led those people inner earth, or to safety. So I think they did that for a lot of people though, because they're more spiritual. So I feel like you're connected with the ant people a lot. Cleanse your chakras, so you can do that when you're drumming. Just imagine like all the colors of each chakra, and then just doing a drum, and then that'll move out. We all have to do that, because we go places, and then that interferes. Things interfere, we pick it up, so yeah. Okay, so this one here, um a lot of people say like this one's more of a gray kind of hybrid because of the eyes. It's kind of I get this in a lot of readings, so it must be a being that shows itself quite a bit in um I think on ships. I think it just thundered outside. Thunder.
Hmm.
Yeah, something. So what do you feel with that being?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I know
Yeah.
out in Arizona, we'd always see, they say we're supposed to see them, but we're always seeing like Tic Tacs floating around out there,
And
Mm-hmm.
things in the sky, but
skies and stuff, but I never seemed like I should take a picture. I
Yeah.
see them, but I never could take a picture.
I know they're hard to because they're so fast and they fade in and out of dimensions, So, oh, see, this is you, your radio frequency. So you have this, you're able to tune in your radio, your mind to all these higher dimensions. You just have to, you find whatever one you want to talk to and then tune into it, like the radio station, like the Sasquatch is this radio station, and then this is this one. They're all different frequencies to tune into, and you can do that very easily. You're just thinking of which one, and or whichever one be talking to you. You have the whole radio system too, so they can tune into you too. So I think you keep it pretty open for communication. Feels like that. Do you think that too? Do you communicate with?
I feel that that's right. Yeah, you do have that. You do tune in. You just don't always know that you're doing it. That's the thing. Yeah. I have picked up on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the eagle. So the eagle medicine, the spirit guide, the eagle. So you might um be more. Do you know if you have you seen the eagle or
Not
no?
here, but out in
Okay.
Arizona, we always had a golden eagle circling us,
Mm-hmm.
always around us, always circling.
You
And
could
he
call
said
them and
it, and
tell them
he
to come to you now. You know where you're at, because maybe come in closer so you can see them, or just think of them more, because they give you the medicine, like that too.
uh, he
And I always thought that, of course, that was the golden eagle we had out there. I always called it Black Hawk. It was
Oh,
like
okay.
I, I was that was who was watching me, my guide, Black Hawk.
Nice. Yeah, I feel that. Yes, you can say Blackhawk, like come over this way so I can see you again. Because they probably do. They just kind of, are up higher, or there's other things there like the Sasquatch that are up front, they're in the front row. And so there's like layers of, a whole stadium full of beings that watch, so you just have to say Black Eagle or Black Hawk, and then they're like, ha ha, I get front seat. So this is wear a talisman or amulet for shielding. So this, whatever you feel, this could be an eagle necklace. What necklaces do you have that you use for
I used to
anything?
wear an ankh
Uh-huh.
because native, I mean, Egyptian stuff kind of, and I always had an ankh.
Mm-hmm.
It haven't worn it for quite a while.
You
I
might
don't think
look
it
for a
felt
new
good to
one.
him. It didn't
Mm,
feel good to him.
yeah, yeah, I feel it's more like an eagle now. It's changed since then, of course. So, like, I wear all these things, and I'm connected with Geronimo. I connected with his energy to help him, the soul retrieval with. I did a soul retrieval with him. He appeared when I was walking, so, and then he was seeing through my eyes and jogging with me. And then I asked other Ivan Teller, he's a channeler, and he said that I was his wife or daughter or family member before, so I felt that strong connection. I was seeing Geronimo, and I was sitting in front of him, and he was showing me doing his like herbs and magic stuff. He's like real magical, really magical, like I would say a witch doctor or something like that, where he could do something good or bad, whatever you wanted, not whatever you wanted, but whatever he wanted to happen, so he didn't, he's really quiet too. He's telepathic. So I just got this, and I said, this is Geronimo. Like I just named it Geronimo, so when I put it on, then I think of him and like protection and stuff, so those kinds of things help, with the energy and brings them in closer to you and stuff. So do you
Okay.
feel Geronimo or anything with me? Anything with that? Or see anything with that?
Was he Apache?
He's
Uh-huh.
a Apache, and I read a lot about Geronimo and then Apache, and I don't hope, out there
Hopi,
I was always looking up things,
You
and
had a vision.
Navajo.
yeah, the Navajo and Hopi, and I talked to people, Native Americans around there and everything else too when I was
Mm,
there.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I know I like him, and I like Quanah Parker. He was the Comanche war chief, and Crazy Horse too is a Lakota, so I guess I'm helping them with the soul retrieval because Quanah Parker, he was I'm in Oklahoma, and his house is in is in, I think I wanted to say Fort Seal, but it's somewhere over there in, I forgot where it's at. It's over by in the northeast southwest area. Lawton, like Lawton area, of Oklahoma, is the Quanah Parker. And he had like a whole bunch of wives that's polygamy, and with a whole bunch of children in this one house. And so he wasn't wanting to leave. He just kept sitting in front of the fire. And I said, what are you, all of your all of your wives are right here, like I was just trying to talk to him to see what he needed. So I just stay with him until they make a move, and I check back in, and he's still sitting there. So I just go on to something else and check back in, and I see he's standing up now. So there's been progress of something. So something still bothers him if he's still sitting there staring into the fire, and he's not talking. And all of his wives are around him, so I know he's not waiting on anybody. So I'm like, what is it? So it kind of goes deep when I'm walking. I do all my work and stuff when I'm walking, and all that too. I get a lot of visions of stuff. So this is some light language. What does that feel like for you guys?
Yeah, I can feel my cells translating that. Yeah, to me, it feels more like a rotating like equation. It's entering. I can feel the download coming in. I can't translate what it's saying completely, but I get the gist of it
Mm-hmm.
essentially. It's some of it is planetary information, some of it is mathematical, and the other is what am I
That's
getting?
why.
Yeah, that too, yes. Basically saying we knew you in other existences kind of thing.
Oh,
It's hard to translate. Yeah.
wow.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. And then here's a remote viewer for the military.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Dun,
So
dun,
I
dun.
think that happened when you was in Arizona, because that whole New Mexico, Arizona area was a base under there. You know, you could have been transported underground to that base there because they probably picked up on your abilities, you know? Yeah, your remote viewing is different though. It's a different kind of remote viewing. So they hone in on whatever abilities and then give you these things to increase it, you know? So it'd be um it's different. I can't find it what it is exactly that you do because it's more dreamlike in a way. Something it's not like your remote viewer, you open portals because I see that easily because that's what I do in that way. So you're more, it's more spiritual. That's what it is. It's your DNA taken because of your spiritual DNA. So there's there's like a guardian, you know, so they need that our spiritual DNA, angelic DNA to be able to, because they're not, they're like, a lot of them are like soulless beings, and then they use that, you know, what I'm saying with that, with those beings, you know, that are the negative or no soul. So they look for the spiritual, um angelic DNA that we all have it, you know, but that's what they get it. They take your knowing your to connection with source, with God, you know, like that, you know, your spirit, like your connection like that, because they don't have that, you know. So,
Yeah, they try to hijack that because they don't have any co-creative skills or virtually none. Draco reptilians fall into that category. A lot of demonic life forms fall, and synthetics fall into that category. So yeah.
mm-hmm, yeah.
Hmm.
And okay, so the Syrian cat people from Sirius. This like Sirius A is the star. They be like the warrior type class, like a tiger that's bipedal where he could humanoid looking, you know, like that, and is a tiger being, or any kind of cat that you're drawn to. Which kind of big cats are you drawn to most?
I kind of like the tigers
Mm-hmm.
more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
particular clan is actually good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the warrior, they're known for their strength, you know, the cats are, they're very strong, you know, strength wise. So they battle the Draco, and the Drake they aren't uh the Draco and them, they're strong too, but the cat people are very strong, you know, strength, but the Draco more psionic, you know. So yeah. Oh, this one, the being taken, this is like a person being worked on by the Greys, and you know, on a ship, and being, you could even have an implant in that they would track you throughout your life and monitor, you know, and keep up with your um medical stuff, you know, kind of like that kind of thing. Or when you're going on a positive, then they come around and then they take you as well to find out what information you have, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking when I had my hernia operation in 2013, I had so many holes in my stomach because they were chasing something around in my stomach that kept moving.
Oh,
And
okay.
they tried to tell us it was calcified fat.
Yeah.
No,
Do better. We got a picture of it, and it was kind of a giant tic tac thing that was floating around my stomach, and they were chasing it all over before they finally caught it.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many holes in my stomach while they tried to catch it.
And
because it
then,
kept moving. Yeah, it kept moving
yep,
around. They finally
Kept
grabbed it,
moving.
but it was, yeah,
it's an
yeah.
implant. Yeah. They was like, what is this? We better put this someplace else. So
I
it,
asked them for it, and they wouldn't let me have
right.
it.
Mm-hmm. They don't let people have that. Yeah. So here's the plant medicine. Yeah, plant medicine. So I like doing that kind of, I see that for you, like as a Native American doing that, like a shaman, a medicine man, a medicine man. Yeah, medicine man. Do you feel that lifetime when you was a medicine man, like in the Navajo,
No,
Apache
that
Navajo,
it's
one of
kind of,
those?
I don't know. I must have shut that down because most of the times now plants, if they're weeds, as far as I was concerned.
Yeah, you would use those for healing people, however that would be, Um, yeah. And drumming. It's a medicine man. You've been that. Oh, this says, love yourself first. That's for all of us. That's for all of us, because that's how we have to work. Loving yourself first. And this a gray. What do you feel from this one?
A little bit of freakiness.
Yeah, yeah, I do feel that. Like a different, just kind of being a little bit nosy too, like that as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last one here, what's that say? Oh,
Uh,
implanted by the
I
alien.
had that in me.
Yeah. Yep.
I think
That's
all
the
of them have that one.
technology. Yep. Yeah. For tracking us and stuff. So yeah. So what do they think with the reading now, with the Sasquatches, with the cards? How do they feel with that, with all the messages? What do y'all think?
Yeah, they feel it was accurate between like both past life and current. It's intersecting multiple existences, expressions, planets, some good life forms, some not. Like that gray there at the end. Yeah, that one. I've spotted ones like that numerous times. That's more of the Orion
Oh,
variety,
yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, us and them tend to have a bit of a rub there, but and some zeta and evens, yeah. I remember the thing with the stomach implant. I remember around the time that took place. They had that thing running around in his stomach, and I was thinking, oh yeah, this is definitely alien. I know there's residual memories there, so yeah, you nailed all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't always befriend the gray
Right.
species for this reason because we've caught grays screwing around like that
Yeah.
when we don't want them to. We've befriended mainly the forest people and also Isaac's people, a few of the Nordic races that are out there, from both Pleiades, Cassiopeia, and a few others that we talk to quite a bit. And yeah, and there have been a couple of gray species that have been kind. I've run across,
Yeah.
but the ones you showed abducting that, yeah, those are usually the ones that I'm usually helping people out in sessions get rid of. So
Yes.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
point. I
yeah,
think, what I really appreciate about what
Yeah.
you're doing is you're bringing things up that, have potentially happened to people. And as you said, the point of all of this is to, maybe recognize it. And again, the goal is healing. So to be able to acknowledge it, to be able to heal from it and understand it better, you really do a type of, very interesting reading that you've made all those cards. I'm assuming you made
Yes.
them.
Oh yeah. I have so many,
Very, very interesting what you do.
And I
mhm.
have these. If y'all want me to do a different deck for you guys really fast, you may draw like 3 cards each for
Yeah, you
for
want
you
Oh,
to?
guys.
that's fine. Yeah, just
Yeah, go
something
ahead.
real quick, but
Yeah.
very, very interesting.
These would be
Yeah,
a little bit different because these are I did this like in one setting almost, and then I've also been you know how when we get into a negative state and then we throw stuff away that because we hear a voice saying like, why are you even drawing this, or nobody's gonna want a reading, so this is negative that's implant, you know, the thoughts, and then I'll throw some of them away. So I'm like, why did I throw those away? Later I'll think that, you know, and that's, and I don't know, I just get in, we just hear those things, so I'm not able to assist them with the whole thing, you know, then I have to redo them, and I'll have duplicates in here. I'm like, oh, that's, if there's a duplicate, that's because I threw the first one away and or something, you know, like that. So
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
happens, you know.
That's
So did
interesting.
you have something to say, Katrina? Was something coming to mind?
No, I'm just interested, changing and shifting.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, very interesting.
Okay. I'm sorry. Is it Jennifer? I forgot the
Joanna,
Joanna. Yeah, Joanna. You should put your name on there. I want to put your, send a friend request for Facebook because so I can get to know you better too. Yeah.
And you picked up on Jennifer. That's actually her sister who's passed away. You just
Oh,
picked.
okay. All right.
So,
You look
yeah.
like a Jennifer though. So this is for you, Joanna. 1010. This can be, I'm gonna turn this light down so it doesn't. So 1010 is like a, either the CN 1010 or the frequency or something like that, or just synchronicity of numbers, you know? And then this being, I think it's more Arcturian, but I don't know what you feel from it.
I feel he was visiting us the other night.
Right? Yeah, that one. Yeah. That there was one that that came to us the other night.
Wasn't good.
Wasn't good though. He
Oh,
looked
okay.
like that though.
He
But
did.
yeah,
Okay, so it was a gray. Yeah. So
yeah,
you, okay,
We're
so
gonna
here's
be
a
right
whole,
back. It's
okay.
Sammy. He's
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, my right ear just kind of changed the frequency. I mean, my left ear right here just changed the frequency. Maybe Fuma left when he did something.
Oh, yeah. I think they're following him out the
Yeah.
door. Yeah.
yeah, he had to take Sammy. Sammy was clawing at our ankles here.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
then this is, what's it say? There are many altars, you know, in your other realities of you.
Mm.
Well, I always joke, I say I've done it all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because they would take our DNA and then put us in clone bodies and stuff,
mhm.
and then put us in the programs, the super soldier, you know, because I can see you as a super soldier and doing very like jumping from the helicopter, you know, doing very high risk things, and you're fearless. You're like, I'll go first, you know, and then you just go, you set the bar like it, well, I guess we got to because she's already out the window, you know, like we got to go, you know, so you're like not scared to go first on anything, whatever it is, you'll just go first, you know. So is that
Yeah, I
right?
used to do a kaleidoscope.
Believe that.
Mm.
Okay, so now this is Chris.
Hmm.
Trying to make it not glare. Is it
Interesting.
blurry?
No, it's not blurry now.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely quantum light language, but trying to read that. Yeah, it's to me it's in quantum it's a mix of both logic and intuitive. I'm trying to translate it, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's difficult for me to translate that one.
Yeah. I just leave it for that because it's more when I'm doing these, I'm in the trance-like state too, and I'll sometimes fill up the whole deck of cards and just go and I'll have the right pins and everything, and I'll just fill up the whole thing one after another, you know, and I'll do that. So then we got these guys.
Hmm. Yeah, those two decided at the beginning of the show they were going to try to come in at one point. You know, those look like Zetas to me.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, and that's how they're communicating that you see the light language between them there, or that language between them. That's the telepathic translation. Yeah, that between them. It looks kind of like that to me, but when it looks like energy swirls and stuff like that. But that's how it would be written in like an equation form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you got the same many authors.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm kind of like a more of a United Nations in that respect. Yes. Mm.
And then last one here is you're the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm. I don't know what that means for you with that, but it's like head on. Like I think of something, you go on head on with something, not afraid, fearless too, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, kind of like that's where when I in sessions I'm it's more of like a warrior type
A wrecking ball.
wrecking ball. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't draw as many because I didn't know. I know
Oh,
we
no,
didn't.
that was
Yeah.
very interesting. Your decks are very interesting.
yeah, they are. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
But when you're in
Um,
the eye of the storm, it's peaceful and calm.
Oh, yeah.
mm,
That's
It's
true.
the
Mm-hmm.
outside that isn't.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
With
the
the
blade
tornado.
that's on the outside of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that also. Oh, yeah. So basically, interpreting it, saying "I, the store, calmed." The word that the Force people use is analem, or analem. It means calm in their
I
language.
think that's what you're trying to learn.
Yeah. And somebody
Yeah.
went, okay, oh, that was Isaac. I shouldn't say somebody. That was, okay. Somebody went, or he went, duh. So
See how many I create, like I draw all of these on,
That's really
those are
interesting
pretty
what
yeah,
cool.
you've done.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Beautiful.
many over, I love drawing, and I ask them to help me with drawing how they look or something, that will help them, with their readings and stuff. So that's why I make the intention. And then sometimes I can't even draw, so I'm like waiting for the kind of the download, I guess, or the infusion of their energy to come in. And, so if I don't feel it, then I'm just like doodling. It doesn't feel, you can feel the energy, definitely. Yeah.
Hmm. It's heating up. It's definitely heating up in here. 'Cause there's a mix of energies. Like I said, it's mainly the forest people. There are a couple of grays in here as well. They're further off that direction.
Mm-hmm.
There's yes, Isaac. I won't forget the midgets that are around. Thank you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But there's shorter people out here that are dwarven.
Oh.
And they're the ones like I'm getting also, I look into a lot of the Asgardian material too, like Kingdom Asgard, Odin, Thor, all those type of things. And these dwarves are from that grouping. Like the
Yeah.
creators of the Bifrost, weapons of the gods, things of that people of that nature.
Yeah.
World of Wheels, that's called. That's in another dimensional space.
What do they say? What are those dwarfs as? What are their? I see the whole bunch of them, like the Wizard of Oz had the little dwarfs look, like that with the little bitty fingers and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Isaac just busted out laughing. He goes, "Yeah, they're the proverbial lollipop guild." Yeah, all right. He just took that as you were poking fun at him. So it's like, so he started busting out laughing, and they're actually more serious. They're
Yes, they
greedy.
are serious. Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're more like, and he's like busting out laughing. They're just so what they do is they lift a glass, like a cup, and when they tilt it like this. This is their greeting, kind of like in Star Trek where the Klingons would go kapla, meaning like success or something. That's their version of it right there.
Yeah.
And meaning that's a greeting and a success, like blessing type of thing when they do that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of dwarves here. Okay, and the other group is Japanese samurai. That's the Untumbans. That's the Proto-Japanese Oriental race. They come from space too, and they help colonize different aspects of the Earth originally. And when you were picking up those lines in the beginning, and when you and I were talking privately, I have next to me some Japanese artwork that has both dragon and those cats, those guardian cats on it.
Mhm.
There's like about a dozen of them. And oh God, there's Asgardian. I can see them, Odin, Thor, and the rest of them. And what's that other group? Tartarian World Unity. They're here. That's they don't come out very often.
Mm.
They are in a different dimensional state. They like to pass the message on to the people. We're still here. We weren't actually demolished. We didn't go anywhere. So that kind of thing. They were a mix of some of some of the Oriental races, along with what we would see Russian and Ukrainian today, and mix of those people, and also white European as well. And they tried to say they were tribes of barbarians. They were not. It was a unified basically world unity, and bad guys tried to break it up after a while. And history records that that happened, but they're still around. And the only reason all these groups are like even standing next to each other is this: they wanted to show all of who was essentially was around
Yeah.
us. And there's somebody else I'm missing here. Okay, I could feel I'm missing somebody, but
Was something with Irish, anything with the Irish folklore, anything with the something with Irish?
mm,
Do y'all have
yes.
Irish
Oh,
blood?
Leprechauns, yes,
Uh-huh.
okay. They're like, we want representation, damn it. Okay,
Oh,
so
good.
like, all right,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm seeing, yes, I see.
we were just talking about that earlier. We should have done a show on St. Patrick Days and brought through the leprechauns.
Oh, yeah, because
We didn't do that this year.
I
We gotta do
spoke-
it next year.
I spoke to somebody in a session this morning that had some leprechauns in their session. So and yes, Isaac, I'm going to remind them if they found their lucky charms. Thank you.
That's what I
Right.
thought too. I was thinking that.
But they just roll their eyes when anybody
Yeah.
does that. So
I thought that. Like the leprechaun on Lucky Charms is magically delicious, you know?
mhm.
Uh-huh.
And Isaac goes, depends who you ask. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, okay, okay. Who is it that's actually speaking today? We can go into the channel, obviously, because there's a ton of people here. So, who is it that's talking? Is it the Forest people? Yes. Okay, so yes, is this Fuma or Seymour? Seymour. I wanted to make sure. Okay, let's see. Okay. Getting a little crammed in here. He says, okay, 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 yeah, Seymour, yeah, you know what to do. Okay, yeah, God, there's a ton of people here. Okay, let's see. All right, Seymour, yes. Yes, it's I, Seymour. I've not spoken for some time on these platforms, even though you usually have the world of Sasquatch and the lifting and GAC and the rest of them. I've had to take a step back for a little while. Our home state of Arizona, there were matters that I had to attend to. Uh, and now I'm back in the swing of things to be able to speak this way again. We figured this was the perfect opportunity. The reason there are so many here is because not only did this conversation needed to be guarded because of the intensity of the energies when you are unifying in this fashion. The other forces tended to be, you would say, party poopers. So, more than that, but more like irritants. So we had to come in with a few of our warriors. I'm more of the type that you would actually see coming and going from a spaceship. Uh, Others may not prefer that reality. My brother and I, Fuma, do this quite often. We've gone out into the galaxy, interacted with the Galactic Senate on multiple occasions. All of you here have actually been on board our ship, including yourself there, Christy, at some point. We apologies because we know how much he detests memory wiping. He sees this as negative. In some cases, absolutely, it is, depending on who does it and with what. But there are some instances where it is absolutely crucial to the health of the psyche. In some instances, or our flinch test, as you say, uh, there there are multiple variables too that are in play there. Whereas, excuse, no. In this instance, sorry, there were others that were wishing to interlope on the conversation. They are being kept in the corner off that direction. But there are multiple entities here as far as ETs go. What I was trying to say was, in Arizona, we had the ship that we do use is quite small. You would actually only see it as an orb. where we would come and go, very much like your Doctor Who TARDIS, where it's bigger on the inside. And other races use this technology. Others have light tubule type ones that look like a dancing soup can. It depends on the race and also the classification of ship, like very much like in your Star Trek, where they have different classes, different uses, things of that nature. I won't bore people with the technical specifications, but some other race can do that. Maybe Isaac can be boring for once, but in this particular instance, I can go into question.
So tell me, what did you like about Christie's and her cards and what she was doing?
This was fascinating to us. This is what we have been poking at him for some time to integrate into what he does. Even though there are both good and bad factions on those cards, this is the way the yin and the yang is balanced. You see, where within the read, this then reflects certain current situations that are going on, and also past ones that led to the current moment. This is actually a well-balanced deck. The most races that you've had around you have translated their own language, or I should say their own version of quantum. It actually translates within the quantum field as how you drew it exactly. This is exactly how this looks, the way it is transmitted back and forth. People can't always read this if they're not receptive to it. It comes through in ideas and intuitive knowings and inklings. And creativity, when you created this deck, you created it based upon that language primarily, and also the beings depicted. Yet I don't see one of our pictures in there, but I won't hold that against you. But this is coming, though, I sense. But
Yes.
we saw our name in there, though we do not go by Bigfoot. We go by forest people.
Okay.
I do not wish to be what's the term, extremely anal retentive on what someone is identified as, but you get the idea. But this is where we're at with this. This is a wonderful scattering of ideas and this wonderful scattering of transmissions from different beings, different planets, different time frames. That's also important. Everything, everywhere happening at once, and timelines that are also coming through. The multiverse is basically shaking your hand as you shuffle that deck. Just be wary of whom you shake the hand with, but you know this already based on your experiences. So I hope this answers.
Yeah. Can I ask about the I guess I don't know if it was that my dad had seen the orb come up to the dogs and then expanded out like a growl, and then the dogs got quiet, and then it's like an orb shrunk back down and then zoomed off. Was that a dog or a forest people?
That was our people actually doing this. We have come to people and done this multiple times. There was actually something nearby that we were actually protecting against our people. We're in that area. They tend to blame us in that area for the whole Boggy Creek thing in Arkansas and Oklahoma and all of these things. But at the same time, we've actually had you would call it a hot spot in all of those areas where you live and further north, where we come and go from also throughout the Ozarks, as well as Gnomish people do quite often, as well as we go traverse in our little orbital spacecraft. So yes, this was indeed our people's doing.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Thank you for coming in too, and I would like to have more interaction with you, with the forest people, and get to know them more, since I'm more in tune to my cards here. So I would like to tune into the frequency, the language. So if you wanted to give me like an infusion of your language when I'm drawing, so I can kind of share that information as well, I would like that.
The word we use, this is interesting, the word we use quite often is analam, meaning calm, or as my brother would say, analam, always, meaning calm, always. And also, he is warning, be careful what you wish for because we are prone to practical jokes as well. We have done so multiple times in multiple places. My brother takes far more risks than I do, I believe. But others in your area, be also leery. There are some that don't care to be communicated with when you start picking up on our people. Some of them prefer to be more private. Or if you go into a territory that is more guarded, you might not get as warm a welcome as you would expect. It's nothing personal, it's just a guarded area. But for the most part, the tribes are going to definitely initiate communications. Also, any other questions from anyone else? Hmm?
Katrina Laverne, you have any questions?
Not
No.
really. He's
No.
just kind of mesmerized by what he's saying, but no, I don't have any questions at the moment.
Hmm.
So,
Yes. This. Yes. This.
Someday I will get that hug from Seymour.
Well, this has actually already occurred. You just do not remember. Though, you at some point it will be open enough out there that you will remember these things. It's also freak matters of frequency as well, where if we laid our hand on you and close into your frequency, your energy couldn't handle some of this. You see, where we met was an in-between holographic space on the craft. You see, where Fuma showed himself in the picture, he was actually meeting you guys part of the way into frequency. He took great risk doing things like this. I did too, but I didn't expose myself as much as he does. I kid with him because he's a risk taker. But with all of you here, you've actually all met us at least once already. This is also why we helped initiate this meeting. Also, Spirit Family as well did as well. This is why they were mentioned briefly in the session here. Also with some of the military aspects mentioned. This would be Bob that relays his best, and Vivian do as well. They. Aha. One of them wishes to speak currently. Hold on a sec. Hmm. Hmm. Well, hello, both of you.
Hello.
This is, I think, Katrina, you know exactly who this is. I think I will identify myself further. You do not like the nickname that I gave you. I called you Punky once. I can only stay for a brief moment because of all the activity, but we had to at least put ourselves in this conversation. To Christy, I was her father in this existence. I'm actually speaking more of as my higher spirit existence, along with my wife and several other. I speak from the spirit world currently. Uh, there is a ton of activity on this property. It needed spirit world to buffer of the conversation. There's at least 15 different species on this property currently, and at least that many or more on your own. I can answer questions about also spirit contacts if you wish as well, if you do have questions for me. And also, if you two have questions for me as well, I would be happy to speak on it.
are you with Mom?
Yes, indeed. We sit in a place, how can I describe? Your parents are there too, Laverne, Ben, and Bert. We are in a, no, Isaac, we're not in a commune, no. It is, he's a dork. So let's see. If you saw our environment, it would be similar to a house on a farm. At least that's how Ben and Bert's are, and also near a stream. Ours are essentially how Hartley House was previous to any construction, but in an open farmish type of area. It's hard to describe it. There's trees, animals. A lot of the animals from the past are there, but there is a water source which represents the connection to Earth or Midgard, essentially. And this is how we can traverse back here and back and forth, or at least how you would interpret back and forth. So, is there any other question?
You said there's a lot of animals. Is that all the dogs and
Dogs, cats, multiple forest people throwing rocks at the house. Yes. Okay. Yes, there are dogs, cats, and there are multiple other wildlife like birds, hawks, eagles, and the like, and many other beings that you would not necessarily be familiar with that traverse through that dimensional space. Haas, Woody, Winston also are present, as well as multiple Brittany's German Shepherd variations and Border Collie variations, cat variations as well. Your Kitty Tom, for instance, and let's see, Angel, Copper, all of them as well. They are all present. Even the orange kitty, Booby, he's present. So all the ones, also your Corky as well. He's around. Everyone that you've ever had contact with in that respect, animal wise, is present, including various like rabbits, squirrels, and the like as well.
Golden
There.
retriever?
Hmm?
Golden retriever?
Indeed, yes. Yes, your Grayson, yes, yes, is definitely around. Runs in and out of the farmhouse a lot. And run as who wishes to speak? Ah, one left. Excuse, I know this is your interview, Christy, but give this a moment. Laverne, this is actually your father, Ben. I can be brief only. I was asked to attend in spirit today by himself on a subconscious level, but I can actually I can talk for a short while if you wish. Did
Okay.
you?
What, I'm, I'm just happy to hear that he's there and doing good.
He or me? You're speaking to me face to face at the moment, even through the channel. I'm not some weird variance of some sort. I'm the one you are actually speaking to is the facet that was your father in on Earth. Uh, I am in a farmhouse essentially. We are more on a soul level. We're more galactic architects or creation architects. We plan to come in the exact way we did, and unfortunately leave the way we did. To be able to, how can I explain in human terms? To be able to better the timelines better than when we entered it. That is the quickest way that I can actually state. I know,
Well, I'm just on their behalf because I know what's part of what they're thinking, but they don't want to say anything.
Hmm.
Can you give them some perspective from from where you stand on some of the life events that they're experiencing now? Because it's been a little difficult for them, and so I was hoping you would do that.
Yes, I have gone nowhere. Any of the spirit that you know has gone absolutely nowhere, even if your human self does not recognize this. All the trials and tribulations you're going through have been absolutely recognized by spirit and soul family. And it is, well, I don't want to say the tribulations are supported, but the fear, you have no fears with surgeries or with anything of this sort, because this has the full backing of ourselves. There are no, as even though he would say there are some things doing damage, yes, but there is even greater backing by spirit. Even though it does not seem as such, we cannot always connect to people as we would wish in that respect. But just like your heart, Laverne, this is being carefully looked after. There was some damage done by aliens, but there was also some healing done by ETs as well. Sometimes certain intermediaries have to be utilized as well, even if they might seem odd or strange. And also for yourself, Katrina, anything with the fears surrounding surgeries do not necessarily need to be. These are messages from everyone, not just myself. This just know there needs not be fear surrounding this, and also as well as showing your face to the general public as well for both of you. I know our guest. Do you have questions for us?
I was just I was looking and listening what you're saying, and I agree with everything you're saying. I don't see any that y'all need to have any fear with any surgeries, and I was feeling like with Laverne with the heart is just because he does so much traveling interdimensional portals and astral stuff that the frequencies sometimes mess with the heart frequency. So it's more of just kind of centering. I see like a centering or something, or even I just keep thinking of the drumming. So you might try that again with the drumming and see if that assists your heart. Because I don't see anything in anywhere, to worry about. And yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't see
Yes.
anything. I was following everything you said, and have no fear of any of the surgeries or anything.
Mhm. Yes, yes, and there is, I know we said this was the last person. There's one other that wishes to interject something here. Uh, uh, just know there is great love towards all of you here, but all family everywhere. They are always around, even if it seems like that light bulb turns on and off. It never turns off. It never has, never will. So I will move aside for one more. Well, hello, everyone. I think you know who this is. This is Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say greetings, ghouls, but I didn't do this since somebody here has an aversion to using the word ghoul. I actually throw him under the bus quite often in channelings, but I will say that it's finally about goddamn time both of you got on a show after a while. Uh, I've only been poking at him to poke at you for a few years now. So finally this took place. So I really didn't have much to say. Other than that, I just had to have the final word of the conversation.
Can I ask Isaac some questions?
Sure.
I knew you had questions.
So was he like in running backwards? What do you think about doing my exercises with me? And then going to the tanning salon too.
For the sake of all that are listening, I will use the PG-13
Thank you.
answer.
That's what I was gonna say.
So, just know there is an R-rated one waiting in the wings. But I
In your
will,
mind. In your mind.
yes, yes, of course. But I also can project a situation and then co-create it as well. So, like with anyone, running backwards, yes, and running and zipping around, yes, there are certain anime type figures that they, like you showed him the other day, that I have a certain appearance of. And yes, I am athletic where I come from. as well. It's a world by the name of Lanulos as well. I and my brother Thorsden are transmitting from there currently, but we can come and go temporarily. You did actually catch me on the track. I was greeting you there because we've actually known each other before, and I usually re-greet those that I remember from other expressions. I knew you during the ant time frame. That's why you translated me as an ant, because that was what I looked like in that existence. I look more human now. I'm half human, half what you would call elven or tall white. Uh, and this is why you saw the pale skin. Sometimes I have a beard, sometimes I do not. He sees me with the beard. I'm related to him and you, Katrina. So this is why I have an appearance similar to yourselves. Essentially the same thing, soul family, even though others out there would object to the term soul family still. Uh, in this instance, yes. I will keep it clean for this particular
Thank you.
observation.
Mhm.
Questions?
Yeah, I was asking him why he likes the red hair, and I was feeling like because it's like stylish, like it's his own thing, and like he likes to be different and unique and stand out with his dress, with his clothes, and how he's like suave, kind of like that too, like a ladies' man, kind of like that. So, that's how I was seeing him. He's like, he likes. I was seeing that he likes everyone to laugh at his comics, his jokes and stuff, and his sarcastic remarks. He thinks he does it to uplift the energy with everybody because everybody's so serious all the
Mhm.
time. And then he likes to just say stuff to help lighten the energy up, so it's not so heavy. Yeah.
Yes, the red hair is actually part of the family lineage there, Katrina.
Okay.
It comes from the Celtic lineage.
Okay.
And also because that was the time of the elven time frame that J.R. Tolkien spoke about in The Lord of the Rings. What he was showing is the ancient battles with man, elves, and Sauron would be the battle with the Fomorians or Orion types. Then some of the remnants of Atlantis afterwards in the Fomorian Tuatha Danann wars, and humans got caught in the middle, and that was the time where some of the DNA got fused together, half human, half elven type of DNA, where some of his genome springs from. So this is also where mine springs from within the genome. The red hair, I let it grow out after I went home. Where I was around military for quite some time. My brother, he would be more of an MD. He looks more like him than I look like him, but he was around them performing medical operations, and I was around essentially him and I were around helping crack programming for people that had got into the SSP and other mind control type programs. Just made it that little bit easier to break out of. He
Yeah.
calls it the Death Star routine, where there was a flaw created into the Death Star to destroy it, kind of thing. That is essentially what we did there. Well, essentially, the military got fed up with us breaking their crap, so essentially our green card got revoked, as you would call it, and we went home. This is where we are talking to you via transmission. We can leave transmitters on a property or show someone how to build one, and we can project a holographic onto a property. The Venusian colonies of Valiant Thor does the same thing, and various Pleiadian groups do the same identical thing. Lanulosians do it. Elaine and Vessa, friends of myself, also do this as well. It's sometimes far too dangerous for some of us to make contact completely physically, so we have chose to do it that way.
When we were ants, then what was our relationship as
Mm.
ants?
This is, I think this borderline's more PG-13 R rating, but I will conglomerate. Yes, there was, had a native existence then. I had ant existence, but I could shift my face back and forth from human looking, and some of them could shift back and forth, not only with just psionics, but with a physical ability. Others had just the psionics. I had an element of both because I had the human-like face. Some of them had the other mandibles and such. Uh, but uh, but yes, this is where we had a relationship. Then this is another reason I greeted you in the way that I did here.
Mhm.
I usually see others that I've shared past life relationships with and want to poke my head in to say hello. That is actually the edge of PG-13 right there. So,
Mhm.
do you have other questions for me?
I can see that. I can see like talking with you as a ant, like an ant being within you could, because I built like more of a relationship with him like that, with the ant being. And then I would be like communicating with him telepathically, maybe I'm more of a telepath in that way, we're quiet seeming. And then you would lead the family inner earth. Is that what was going on like with the um was it like the shift in the earth or something that happened, or with the flood, and then the ant people guided the natives in our earth?
What had happened around that time was when Enlil decided to, and some of his kin decided to help flood the Earth. He was attempting to take out other giant races on the Earth and other genomic structures that he did not care to preserve. Our people saw this and wanted to save people from from drowning. So other certain races and genomic structures were preserved within the inner Earth. The flood took place over roughly a decade period. It wasn't like the Bible said, 40 days or however they said it. It was over a decade. Then the waters were drained away, and then the nature was restored. This was Enlil's way of trying to rid the earth of Nephilim and Jotun, but it did not quite work. And also, some of the forest people were at risk too. This did not quite work. A lot of human genomes were saved within the inner earth. He was not allowed to try that move again until centuries later during the Sumerian period. There was a second flood. Third time when some also Orion and other Dark Anunnaki forces tried it again was during your Tartarian mud flood. It was more like just basically a sewer overflowing. They couldn't quite get it right that time, I must say. But the major flood around the times of Atlantis. There was a second one in your Sumerian period, where some of your Noah story comes from as well. Same thing with the flood that came before. They kind of got merged, and then you had your mud flood. They attempted to do what they did in the past, and they could not. The power just was not there to do it. Galactic history would show that resources dwindled after a while, after the last great galactic war. But the crux of this is, yes, we did rescue people, and it was enough that we could help start another civilization. After this is when this form of mine passed. That incarnation or expression of mine passed away. This was an excursion that I went to Mars shortly after this, and this was after the disaster therein, and attempted to set things right there. And I was subsequently uh, basically killed by certain reptilian forces that occupied in the hills of Mars. They tend to look a little like large salamanders with large curved swords. Essentially, these are not Draco. These are a different variety. They're slightly less creepy than Draco, but these guys are more territorial. They can take down spaceships with a yell or a scream. They tend to be able to shout people apart, essentially, with like a voice like in your Skyrim Thum vernacular. But this is essentially how I was killed in that lifetime, reincarnated eventually as the one that it's channeling. I remember a lot of my past lives fluently, like your movie Infinite, the Mark Wahlberg movie that came out. Essentially, I can do that same and access my personal Akashic fluently.
So do you have any, does Isaac have any messages for me about what I do with the cards, and any anything like that? Any messages?
Yes, yes. As Seymour said earlier, it's a wonderful deck. Keep this up. Start to keep adding to this. You can even create other decks this way. You might be able to even create ones to sell if you learn certain computer programs or things of that nature, like Photoshop and the like. You can integrate the computer along with it. But the way you do your sessions, absolutely perfect to show people what they've been involved with. But as Seymour said, yes, adding additional species in there would be warranted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Especially the forest people because they are hams for attention. I believe the term is attention horror. So,
For PG.
okay, PGR. Okay. I guess if there was a rating in between, it would be PGR. So, and no, Thorsden, it is not NC-17. So, or X. So there we go. So this is where I must detach from himself. Any other questions for myself beforehand?
Nope.
From the peanut gallery there?
No.
No? Okay. Okay. So I will detach at this time. So bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So all right. Yeah, normally when there's a group like that, I knew there was going to be more than one talking. So that it was a mix between Spirit and ET. So and Forest people. So that's actually interesting. I can feel them some of them withdrawing too, but that's actually quite interesting.
Like getting up because the movie's over. Like they're standing up out of their seat, leave like the movie's over, so they're getting up.
Yeah, it's
You
like
know?
get it. So the credits are forming. So it's like but is there going to be an after credits scene? Okay, no, no, Isaac. Okay, let's see. I knew he's always the one that always have to have the final say in things.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything to add? Christy, did you have any information you want to give people? Website? Oh, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
email. All
Yeah,
right.
my email is christy.campbell.11@gmail.com. And I do the readings. If you wanted to book a session, just email me and then we can set that up. Yeah. And I do charge $44 and it's an hour reading, so.
Okay, all right, that's great. Does anybody else have anything
No,
to say? Or
it was
anything?
wonderful. It was wonderful to see your work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I
Very
enjoyed
nice
this
to
a
meet
lot.
you.
Very
Yeah.
healing for me too, to interact with all of you and everybody in the audience too, that's watching our movie that are getting up out of the crowd. We're not done.
Yeah, and Isaac said because of the bright light, I look like him now. So because he's pale. So but okay, I believe we're good here. So thank you everybody for watching this episode. This was a lot of fun tonight. Filming this episode. If you want to get in touch with myself, you know where to go, thelifting.net. Now you know where to go to get in touch with Christy. And I now close this circle within true benevolence and no conflicting agendas as of this moment in time. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Christy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, that was good.